We coexist with a variety of individuals in our community. All of these people are accompanied by a story that not only represents but reflects their past, future, and present decisions. They come from all different walks of life. Some are rich, some are poor, and some are in the middle. Each individual is a package of events and circumstances that mold who they are. Occasionally, we need to place ourselves in their situations, walk in their shoes, and really take the time to connect. With that in mind, we came to the conclusion that sitting down and physically getting people to share, open up, and tell us about themselves, we can truly grasp and discover the concept of where we belong.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, every day of my life. I mean, I was always different, so of course I felt like I never belonged.
Always.
Often.
No.
Yes.
I have many times in my life felt like I don't belong.
Yes.
In one, I moved from another country to Singapore. So I was born in Singapore, moved to East Malaysia. My parents had businesses there, moved back to Singapore. And when I arrived in grade 1, well, in Singapore it's called primary 1, I was standing at the door with, I think, the principal, and she was Mother Kevin. I went to a Catholic school. And all the students that were standing by the door looked at me and said, "Oh, look, she's so cute, she's so small." And ever since then, I think I felt small, tiny.
Kids were all worried about being popular. I just wanted to be artsy. So I was always the weird one. So yeah, I never belonged. I belong more now because I'm an adult, but as a kid, I was different.
Yeah.
Maybe the first year after I arrived here, but now.
When I was younger, I was trying out for a hockey team, and I remember going through tryouts and working really hard to make the team, and then finding out that I didn't make it and getting cut. So that was certainly, I didn't belong there.
I think that when you're a tween, actually even in elementary school, I was very different than lots of kids. And as I went into high school, I still was different. And I didn't fit into, let's say, the popular crew or those kinds of cliques. My interests were different and my curiosities were different. And as an adult as well, as a feminist, as a queer, as a Jew, those are three things where technically in our culture sometimes it's not an accepted place to be. And so I have stood proudly in those spaces only very recently to make sure that there's elbow room for perhaps the people who are not as confident to create space for diversity and difference.
When I was 22, I moved to Hong Kong, and I felt I wasn't belong because most people speak Chinese, and I understand just a little bit of Chinese, so it makes me awkward. I can't communicate well with people around me.
Growing up dark skin, for one thing, there's kind of like, I don't know, a way you're viewed within not just the Black community, but within society, where you feel like you're not beautiful just based on your complexion. And I mean, it's something that's perpetuated by my ethnicity, like my culture and society. So I had a long time where I had to just really focus on myself, figure out what I like about myself.
Well, I remember one time my friend invited me to go hang out at McDonald's. Then his other friends were there, and I didn't know who they were. I kind of tried to make friends with them. They kind of judged me based on my size, I guess my skin color, because their environment, they don't really have people like me, but I tried to be nice to them as possible, but I feel like they just don't like people my size. place, I guess.
I don't really care what it is. Be who you are. And so for me, there was a long time where I wanted to belong. And I think belonging is very key and important. It's a very essential experience. However, the belonging that I have now is I've come home to myself. I know who I am. I know what I believe in. I have core values. I have my own children who I get to share those things with. And therefore, as a result, wherever I go, I'm home. I don't need other people to make me feel safe or loved, although it's nice to be safe.
Well, not anymore. I mean, it's acceptance that makes me move forward. Accepting that people are different, probably different from them, but it's not really a big deal if you put it in your mind, if you have an open mind.
I overcame it because I'm cooler than them. And I really don't care what other people have to say.
You just gotta not let it get to you and, you know, try to focus on the good parts about not being a mom and dad, maybe? I don't know. I belong with my children, and I very much feel like I belong at my job. I love my job. I work with refugees, New Canadians, and they're good people. Over the Christmas holidays, we just got off, and I missed them. You know, it was great to come back and say, oh my gosh, how are you, and how is everything going? And I very much feel like I belong at my work.
I belong right here. I'm a teacher. I've achieved many, many amazing things in my life, and I belong exactly where I am.
Right here.
I belong where everyone is friendly and accept you with an open heart. Wherever you are, if there are people warm enough to accept you, it doesn't really matter where you're from, where you're going to.
I belong with friends with loyalty, friends with no, they're not really judgmental, friends who respect each other, friends who respect people, friends who, you know, have your back.
Well, what I learned from that is that I belong where I want to belong, so wherever I am, that's the place to be. I belong to a group of one, being me. I rely on myself and my achievements and my own efforts. And if anybody wants to come along with me, they're more than welcome. I'm going to lead the charge.
Thank you. The collective of people you see in your everyday life, on the subway or just doing your daily routine, could be judged by the way they dress or how they look. And sometimes, just the emotion on their face. But when you take the time and really sit down to talk to the people, you can find the most magnificent things. Below the surface, people have stories, and in those stories embodies what our lives as a community and as one world stand together. Where you belong isn't one thing for everyone. It is perspective of one person, where they feel safe and unjudged by their peers. And that is where we believe we all truly belong.
Have a good day, be happy.